Hello again. Good evening. So happy to be able to share tonight something else that I'd experienced, and like I said that I was going to share this particular thing tonight. So it was kind of odd because I fell asleep for a while, and I woke up and I'm like, it's 12:30, and I'm like, I can't even think straight. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. But I don't want to miss out on this, and I didn't want to miss being able to reveal this bit of information with you guys. And for those of you that don't know, I'm Jeff, and my channel is called the Yoga Lounge, which sometimes actually may not be really applicable to some of the things that I talk about, because I'm talking about the world situation a lot now, and some of the things that this particular planet is going through right now, with all these shifts going on in the upper atmosphere, and the whole the whole universe as a whole. So we're talking about the many galaxies in the Milky Way galaxy. There's like billions of more galaxies. We don't know how many galaxies there are. Maybe millions, maybe billions. But anyways, so we do know that on our planet right now that a lot of things are going on. A lot of people are getting sick. A lot of people are feeling the effects of these different things being bombarded at us all the time. These are, they feel like shots. They feel like jolts, and it affects people in different ways. I mean, some people, in their hands, in their legs, in their stomachs. A lot of people are, having incredible stomach pains for no reason at all. Like I mentioned before in my first video today, I had a massive headache that just came on out of nowhere, and it went on for the whole day, really. So today was a tough, in a way it was a tough day, but it was also a joyful day for me. Every day is a joyful day. When you wake up and you're able to walk and talk and breathe and sleep and eat and have fun, or whatever you're going to do, it's a joyful day. No matter what's going on. No matter what's going on, I mean, there's always things that in life that come along our way and that throw us off the beaten path, or we hit a bump in the road. There's elements of surprise that come and get our attention and throw us off. And so, and that kind of goes along with this whole line of thought, in where we need to really meditate and be strong. We need to fight, be resilient every single day. Diet, exercise, relaxation, sleep, and most of all, we need to try to keep the mind calm and try to stay centered and balanced. So I want to just get on with this subject, and I'm going to try to keep this message down to hopefully 35 minutes at the most. So let's move on here. I want to talk about in relation to what's been going on. I'd say about 1 or 2 weeks ago, I was in the hospital, and I had to have a procedure done to save my life, essentially. So I elected to do that. Although I had a choice, I could have gone home. And like I said before, I don't know if you tuned into the earlier video on my journey, I said that the doctors gave me a choice and said, we don't have a crystal ball, but if you're welcome to go home, but or you're welcome to postpone this if you want to do it in a few more days. But we have to send our staff home at 1 o'clock today, so you need to make a decision. And if you elect to stay in the hospital for a couple more days? You don't, I said, well, I really don't know. I don't want to do anything that's not necessary. And we were talking about my heart rate. It was going up and down, and at times it appeared steady to me. But so I didn't know, maybe I didn't have to do it. But I looked over at the monitor, and I'm like looking back, and I'm seeing it. My heart rate was going down to like, 31, 32. Then it went back up to 70 and then down to 40. It was just all over the place. And I said to the doctors, I said, I think it's a big test. Let me get up and let me see if I can, how ambulatory I am, if I can walk without any dizziness or feeling faint. And that would kind of give me an indication of how I'll feel when I return back home. So then it would help me make an educated decision or a spiritual decision on really what I should set forth on doing. So, long story short, they said, well, if your heart goes into shock this weekend, and our staff is completely gone from the hospital, you're going to have to wear like a temporary tube on the side of your neck and be immobilized on the bed. So then, you may not be able to do this till like next Tuesday or Wednesday. So anyways, you could refer back to that video if you're interested in looking at this. So, but anyways, I went ahead with the procedure. So let's jump right into this, and here we go. I want to try to make this all concise so everybody can understand. I don't go off on a beaten path. So kind of forgive me a little bit tonight. It's kind of late, and I'm trying to. I'm not quite as sharp as I usually am, but I'm fairly with it. Most of the time, I seem to get it right. Not all the time, but most of the time. Every day we're all different. We have different days, different moods, different swings, and. Sometimes it's the, like I was talking about, that's the coffee, Starbucks. That really helps. Tonight I'm drinking tea, actually. I have tea in the cup, so I haven't had any coffee, so maybe I'm not quite right there like I was last night. Okay, so what happened is I went in for surgery. It was about a 2-hour procedure, I believe. And I woke up in the recovery room, and everything I felt fine. And I felt like probably the best I'd feeling in the last maybe a couple of weeks prior to that. I just felt great. I mean, my body was at so much peace. They'd actually emptied my bladder so I could finally urinate, which was a very vicious problem that I'd had before the surgery. So, and the reason I'm talking about this is to lead up into the subject of what happened to me later that night. So, this is 7-Up too. 7-Up's good. It has a little bit of bicarbonate, carbonated. It's carbonated. It has bubbles, so. Some people say that's good for you, others don't. 7-Up's good for your stomach, though. If you have a stomach ache or anything like that, it's always helped me with stomach aches. So what happened is the nurse came into my room, as many times they do, different doctors, different nurses, and what have we, assistants, and you get so many people coming at you, you're trying to remember names, and I like to remember everybody's name, because to make a special impression on everybody that I come in contact with, and that's always a good rule of thumb, by the way, for anybody who's listening. Always try to, my advice, always try to smile at somebody, make a nice gesture. Don't do a negative thing, because it doesn't help the energy field around. And so anyway, so she came. This nurse came into my room. It was like 3 in the morning, and It's about 2:30 to 3, I think, something like that, a.m. I was in in a state of deep sleep. Obviously, I don't know if I was gone from the body. I think I was at that particular time, like many other times, and that I've gone to sleep and I've dreamed of places or experienced different places that I've never seen in my lifetime before. I don't even, or different people that I've never known or seen, or and it's just so bewildering and strange, you know. So I've had many different experiences like that, or also people that I knew, family and friends, and I dream about them too. Anyway, so I was, and this is really heavy. So I was in a deep sleep. The nurse came into my room, and all of a sudden I was back at my apartment. And so I remember I was kind of in my bed, or and resting or whatever, and a nurse, looked like a visiting nurse, came in, and I said, "Oh, how are you? And what's going on? And thank you for coming over." And we were just talking, making general conversation, and so then it went on. The dream went on for just maybe a few minutes more. And I can remember this very vividly. And so then all of a sudden, I was back in the hospital, and the nurse was saying, wake up, you're still in the hospital. I was saying, no, I'm not, I'm back home. She says, no, you've been in the hospital the whole time. You've been here. And as she was changing my bandage on my groin area where they had inserted something up into my into the heart. So it was bleeding, and she was changing that. And I said, no, but you were just in my apartment. I was just in my apartment, and you were just visiting me. How could I still be at the hospital? And so then it took me a couple minutes to realize that I was still in the hospital, and the nurse was, in fact, coming into my room. And but at the same time, the experience was that kind of like she was coming. I was at the apartment, so part of me, part of my mind or subconscious, or the subconscious and the astral body were at my apartment, and part of me, maybe my conscious body, my brain, was still in the hospital. So my physical body was wide enough or awake to come to the realization that I was there. So I had two experiences going on at the same time. So she was there, she was here, but I really didn't know where she was until I woke up, and I was in quite coherent after about 2 or 3 minutes. So that's what happened. It was a phenomenon, an event that is still bewildering to me, and it's really hard for me to explain. But I'm going to I'm going to explain. I'm going to share something with you that refers to that in the Bible, and I really wasn't aware of this until I did some research on this this week. And so I'm going to try to present this to you. Hold on just a second. Let me grab my notes and go a little further. So getting to Scripture, I like to kind of, everything that I talk about, I like to kind of back it up with something of relevance, so that, people don't think that, this guy is just he's kind of nuts, and he's just making all this stuff up, and like they try to coin a lot of people as, being nutcases or whatever. And which in fact there actually are. So you shouldn't believe everybody that you hear, because there's a lot of nuts out there, and there are a lot of people, there's a lot of narcissists and people that come across with these crazy theories, and they try to tell you how to do things and how to live your life and what to do. Well, don't listen to them. You have to. The ultimate aim is to, of course, to listen to yourself. Believe in what you believe in. Let your heart guide you, and you come to the conclusion within your mind. You say, do I think this is true, or do I think this is something that's going to work for me, or do I think this is important? Yes or no, and then you come to the conclusion yourself. So anyways, let's go back into this, and I will present this last bit of info from Scripture, what it has to say on bilocation. And let me grab another sip of chamomile tea. This is chamomile tea, by the way. I have a lot of anxiety, and so it calms my mind, calms me down. Anyways, so here we go. Okay, so let's start with here. So it refers to in the Bible in Luke 1:37. Jesus said, "But remember, nothing is impossible with God. In fact, there are documented cases of many other saints who could bilocate." So let me proceed a little bit further. So there's many other evidence of saints who could bilocate, or of people, or of any kind of gender, or wasn't necessarily, I don't believe by the interpretation that it was referring to saints, but that's what it said. At one time, let's just move on a little bit further within these notes here that I have. At one time, Jesus told Saint Faustina that she would recite the Divine Mercy Chaplet by the bedside of a dying man in despair to obtain mercy for him. So that's what it goes on to say. So according to the traditional biblical and Catholic theory, God is present everywhere at all times. So that means present everywhere at all times means he's omnipresent. So God is in everything, everywhere, in every object, everything that we see around us is actually created by God, and that it is a part of, or has to do with God, and is God. Everything on this planet, the universe, the galaxy, we don't know all the secrets. So let me go on to say, anyways. So, in various cases, and always for the spiritual benefit of those involved, individuals who are spiritually advanced may be granted by God the gift of bilocation. Okay, so that's what this has to say about that. And so I'll go a little further. Bilocation, or sometimes multilocation, is an alleged psychic ability or miraculous ability wherein an individual can relocate to two distinct places at the same time. So it refers to that an individual can actually relocate to two different places at the same time. And this is something that's a special gift that can be granted by God. So at the same time, let's just read a little further here. And at the same time, the Greek philosopher Pythagoras was said to have been capable of bilocation. Almost unanimous is the report that on one hand and on the same day he was present at Metapontum in Italy, and at Tyrominium in Sicily, in each with his friends, conversing with him. And so conversing with them, he was in two different places, Pythagoras, that's what it says, two different places at the same time. And these places were many miles apart. So that's what it says about bilocation. So so this is a very powerful thing, and I don't know, maybe some of you have had an experience like that. If you have, then comment, hit that, smash the comment button and say, yeah, I've experienced something like that. Maybe it'll help somebody else, and and draw more people into the chat. And so this is what we all need to be doing as a whole. As for the collective to all get together and keep the energy flow up, because we have so much negative and evil energy out there in the world right now that there's only a select few and chosen ones that are able to proliferate and shall I say, to expound, or I don't know if that's the correct word, or to really to be a voice for the voiceless, to lift the energy, to lift the God vibration up, because this planet is ruled by the evil. It's controlled by the evil, and God is in sovereign control, but he kind of, I'm going to get into this whole other thing at a later time, but it was given to Lucifer to be in dominion of the earth for quite a while, and all the way through the tribulation. And at one time I might get into some of that a little bit later, stuff that not everybody believes. It's not me that says it, it's the Bible that says it. So that's what I always say. So this stuff is really deep, and I don't expect everybody to be into it. If you are, you might want to come back to it and maybe look back at some of the things I was talking about. So I hope I was able to keep this under, I think I did, for maybe it seems like about at least a half hour I've been going on about this. But anyways, that was my experience of bilocation, and so very heavy, very deep. I've had some other experiences like that, which I'll get into at some later point, maybe. I like to talk about these adventures and these day-to-day happenings, what I'm going through, and because it can help people, because people can relate and say, hey, I went through that too, Jeff, and sometimes it clicks, when somebody else talks about something that you went through, and then you relate, and it brings it all kind of into proper perspective. So anyways, I'm going to say goodnight for now, and once again, I wish you all the best, and please comment on the channel if you can. Maybe push the like button. It will help get the word around, and to make the channel more visible. I'm going to try to deliver a message at least every day, maybe every other day, as we proceed on into the next several weeks. I usually leave the messages at night. I did leave a meditation today earlier. If you guys want to go back to that, there's a great late afternoon yoga and meditation that I was explaining the chakras, all the way down from the Muladhara to the Sahasrara chakra and the pineal gland, and I went through that. So I thought that was a pretty good video, actually. So anyways, I'm going to say good night all. I love everybody. I love you all. God bless, and please be safe. I mean, be safe. I hate that cliche. People say they were using that a lot during the COVID thing. But anyways, everybody have a good rest of the weekend and a Sunday, and God bless you. Good night.